Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. When your roast partner looks like he shops at the WNBA gift shop. Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett tried to make fun of how conservative women look while standing next to a man in a dress.
You know you want to say it.
Okay, so I have this thing where, like, you know a MAGA woman when you see one.
1000%.
They all have a look,
big
right?
Back,
But their lips be up to, anyway, That's a whole other issue. But yeah, they don't even know, because
That's right. She's mocking conservative women's lips while her +1 is tucking. Jasmine says that MAGA women all have a look. Yeah, it's called female. Fetterman shocked her so hard, she felt her first human emotion. Senator John Fetterman surprised CNN's Dana Bash by telling her that the left is much more cruel than MAGA. And Fetterman wasn't even talking about the left's new trend of engraving their talking points on bullet casings. Bash read a passage from Fetterman's new book where he wrote that the most poisonous, the bitterest attacks he receives come from the far left. She noted that it was remarkable for Fetterman, an elected Democrat, to make such a statement and asked him to elaborate.
And the difference is, the right would say really rough things and names. On the left, it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won? They even have like the graphic, a GIF where they have like a stroke, in your head, cheering at that.
That's the most emotion that Dana's shown since Jeffrey Toobin forgot to turn his camera off. Newsom flew 5,000 miles to explain why you should use less gas. Gavin Newsom flew to Brazil for the UN Climate Change Conference, where he criticized President Trump's position on climate change and bragged about California's green policies.
The United States of America is dumb as we want to be on this topic, but the state of California is not. And so we are going to assert ourselves, we're going to lean in, and we are going to compete in this space.
Yeah, lean in. Just don't lean on anything in downtown San Francisco or you'll contract a yeast infection. Newsom's California's competing on climate. This is the same state where the sidewalks are basically, guess what stain this is? Global warming's out. Apparently, a new ice age is going to get us. I guess it's time to trade in your SPF 70 for a sled and a ski mask. Climate scientists have claimed that an important Atlantic current might be pushed to the brink of collapse within just decades, and that this collapse could cause a dramatic rise in sea levels and even a new ice age. These findings come from researchers at the Institute of Oceanology of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, as well as researchers at the University of California in San Diego. So at least we know they're trustworthy. Nothing says we've got this figured out like going from burned alive to frozen tundra in the same news cycle. So we're going from hot flashes to cold sweats. I guess the earth isn't dying, it's just going through menopause. And now on to the comment section. So the first segment we're looking at is the one on Kamala Harris playing 3D chess. Okay, this is from Cobra Dalton, 8375. It only looked like it was 3D chess because she was drunk as a skunk. She was drinking so much that it started to look like the 3D chess from Star Trek. Any of you remember the original Star Trek where Spock would play that 3D chess? Yeah, when it starts to get blurry and she can't see, it's like, okay, Kamala, stop with the drinking. Okay, then we kind of talked about the city of Chicago a little bit. Ooh, I almost slipped and said a bad word instead of city, but I meant to say city. Talking about Chicago, we have this comment from Ken Albrecht, 5649. A conservative friend said he grew up in Chicago, asked him if his dad voted Democrat. He said, not until he died. Okay, on the segment about the Gavin Newsom saying that the drilling off of the coast of California was dead on arrival. So we have this comment from Michael DeMarco, 467. I picture the parking garage for the Capitol building in Sacramento full of clown cars. Yeah, don't they have a supermajority of Democrats in California, which is why they can do anything completely insane because they just have this supermajority. And they probably do have clown cars. I don't know. It would be maybe they do that to save on gas. So the car pulls up and then like 25 people get out. I don't know. Okay, so then this is from IBNZ Boy 2009. There are oil rigs all over Los Angeles hidden in plain sight. WTF is he even talking about? And I wanted to look at this to see what the numbers were actually like. And yeah, there are tons of oil rigs in and around Los Angeles. Here are a couple of little facts that I found on the internet. There are 101,000 unplugged oil and gas wells in California, with 8,000 located in Los Angeles County. Okay, that's a lot. Across Los Angeles County, unplugged wells are on average less than 1,200 feet from homes. However, this varies regionally, with some wells only 25 feet away from homes. So yeah, there are oil rigs all over the place around the Los Angeles County area. So it is kind of odd that Gavin was acting like this would be the most horrible, terrible thing that would desecrate the state of California, when like you got 100,000 of these? Insane. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm assuming that IBNZ Boy, are you from LA? Thank you for hanging in there as a good conservative amongst a bunch of crazy people. Okay, this is from the segment on the Wicked actresses who were looking at talking about the auras that they have. And we also talked about Robert De Niro, saying, wouldn't it be nice if instead of talking about politics, he just talked about his aura? So we had this comment from JBM Bryant. We already know Robert the Zero's aura color, poop brindle brown. Okay. Then on the segment about Jacob Fry, the guy who won being mayor over Omar Fateh in Minneapolis. So this comment from HHS7W, is this the idiot that was fake crying at George Floyd's funeral? Yes, it actually was. So I did look this up. This is an article from the Post. This is back June 2020. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry sobs in front of George Floyd's casket at somber service. I actually do have the video clip, so I'm going to show that while I read the snippets. The mayor of Minneapolis sobbed as he knelt beside George Floyd's casket ahead of a somber memorial in the city on Thursday. Mayor Jacob Fry was seen breaking down in tears, his body heaving as he knelt with one hand on the casket of Floyd, 46, whose death at the hands of a white Minneapolis police officer last week has sparked widespread protests. Okay, so it is the same guy, and I immediately thought of the school shooting recently in Minneapolis where, let's see, there were 2 children that died, 18 others were injured. This was the shooting at the Catholic school during morning mass. And do you guys remember what Fry did at that point? I didn't see anything of him mourning by any caskets or memorial services like he was carrying on at the George Floyd thing. But he did dismiss prayer. When that happened, he actually dismissed prayer in a statement that he made. So I'm going to go ahead and play that.
And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
So that is Jacob Fry, ladies and gentlemen. Right. And just keep in mind, he was the better choice. for mayor. It was either him or that Omar Fateh guy who is a big Somalia guy. Anyway, but Fry is too. Anyway, just keep in mind he was the better choice, which is completely insane. Anyway, all right. Thank you for watching Headlines. I'm Wes Austin. Good night.